Another hot day, but cooler temperatures are on the way. I'm tracking a cold front that'll bring us cooler temperatures and showers and thunderstorms through the holiday weekend.
School HVAC issues. Classrooms are heating up as the temperature is hitting record highs this week. How Wake County Schools is working to address the issue and keep kids cool. Regulating data centers. State lawmakers are working to put new requirements on developers. How the new proposal would keep you from footing the bill. We are following those stories and more. WRAL News at 8 starts in about 30 seconds.
At Leith Honda in Raleigh and Auto Park Honda in Cary, we make your buying process easy. And with every new car purchase, you'll enjoy complimentary oil changes and exceptional service. It's no wonder we've earned so many 5-star reviews. You'll also get peace of mind pricing with every used vehicle, and if it's not the perfect fit, no problem. Bring it back within 3 days for an easy exchange. Visit our showroom at Auto Park Honda in Cary or Leith Honda in Raleigh. It's easier here.
Your number one source for local news. This is WRAL, coverage you can count on.
Good morning. The time is 8 a.m. here on your Wednesday. We made it to the middle of the week. Thanks for joining us on Fox 50. I'm Laura Levine.
And I'm Ken Smith. We're waking up to another warm morning. But it's pleasant right now, though. Let's get over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center, tracking this warm day shaping up.
Yes, another really hot one like we've seen since Sunday. We take a live look at the DBAP, and there's a homestand here. You know, find yourself a little spot in the shade. Tonight's actually going to be a really special night. It's 9 weddings and 9 innings, hosted by our morning friends over at Mix 101.5. So that's a fun one. Southwest wind at 10 miles per hour, keeping things really warm for us today. It's 72 in the Triangle now, 69 in Fayetteville, 72 in Rocky Mount, and 68 in Roxborough. So still warm, but now we're beginning to see the temperatures creep up. 90 by lunchtime and 96 the high this afternoon. We don't get out of the 90s until around 7 p.m. So it's going to be another one of those afternoons where you just want to take it easy. The cold front arrives and brings us cooler temperatures and a better chance for rain tomorrow. That sets off a wet pattern that lasts into early next week, but it won't be a total washout. We'll walk through what you could see coming up. Ken?
8:02, Elizabeth. A couple of troubled spots to report to you this morning here in the WRAL Traffic Center, starting with the I-87 coming in out of Knightdale this morning. You're looking at the southbound lanes, and we've been picking up some heavy congestion on I-87 southbound for the last hour or so. Right now, if we stretch out the view all the way back to Wendell Falls Parkway, you're looking at an 8-minute delay from Wendell Falls Parkway to the Beltline. So if you're in a rush this morning, you want to avoid that bumper-to-bumper traffic, you might want to take Knightdale Boulevard or Business 64 as an alternate route if you're coming in from Knightdale and all points east. The other troubled spot this morning, the usual actually, I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road. These are the westbound lanes coming toward us this morning, the southern loop of the Beltline. So here's what it looks like in terms of what you can expect heading in there. You're looking at a 10-minute delay now on that southern loop of the Beltline. The good news for other folks on I-40 westbound, you're coming in from the Garner-Johnston County area, no delays between Highway 36 and the Beltline or through Wade Avenue. You're getting ready to head into the car. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Okay, Ken, thank you. One person is dead and another is in the hospital after a serious crash this morning in Harnett County. This happened at around 2 a.m. on Oak Grove Church Road near Highway 55. That's just outside of Anger. You're looking at video of that scene from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. State Highway Patrol says the car rolled over several times, and troopers say neither person in the car was wearing a seatbelt. We are working to learn the name of the person who died. Also new overnight, Durham police have someone in custody after reports of car break-ins. This is video from that scene at Fox Crossing Apartments near South Miami Boulevard. It's still unclear if the person in custody is facing any charges.
Well, today, North Carolina lawmakers are expected to roll out a proposal targeting big data centers. Now, if approved, it would prevent costs from shifting to consumers like you. Let's get to WRAL's Kirsten Clark. She's live outside the legislative building this morning. And Kirsten, we've seen a lot of resistance against data centers across the area in recent weeks.
Yes, we have, Ken, and the data center boom, it's become a big issue in our state, and it's why House Republicans are proposing what they call the Ratepayer Protection Act, proposing the first steps toward regulations on data centers here. Now, this bill would require data centers to cover the cost of electricity, grid upgrades, and new power generation. It comes as AI-driven data centers fuel a surge in demand on the state's electric grid. Utilities warn these facilities can can use as much power as a small city, putting new pressure on utilities to expand infrastructure. The proposal would also prohibit cities and counties from offering economic development incentives to attract data centers and bars the use of eminent domain or taking private property for public use for data center siting. So this proposal is expected to be discussed in a House committee meeting this afternoon. To learn more about this bill, you can head on over to the NC Capitol section of WRAL.com. Live in Raleigh, Kirsten Clark, WRAL News.
Of course, we've done a number of stories on data centers in recent months in communities both big and small. We've looked at how the centers affect energy prices and the environment. You can find our coverage right now on WRAL's YouTube channel.
Also happening today, the State House could give final approval for a bill that would help local governments recoup more property tax revenue. The bill would tighten rules for nonprofit organizations that receive property tax exemptions. Representative Aaron Pear, a Holly Springs Republican, said Wake County alone would have collected an extra $11.5 million in 2025 taxes if this loophole were to be tightened. Her bill to do just that passed key votes unanimously in the State House yesterday. It would still need approval from the Senate. Some Wake County schools have seen the heat creep into the classroom because of issues with HVAC systems, and they're now asking parents to send their kids prepared to go to class with water and comfortable clothing. Reedy Creek Middle School is one of the schools that reported a broken AC on Monday. Wake School's Chief of Facilities and Operations, Mark Strickland, says somewhere between 4 and 6 schools reported HVAC issues in the last 3 days. Strickland says part of the problem is a lack of funding for maintenance.
We are constantly working on ways to be more effective and efficient with the funding that we have. But as you all well know, where we are with our budget right now, it is a challenge.
The district is budgeted to spend between $40 and $45 million on HVAC systems alone. That's nearly double what they spent in 2023.
Well, today you'll have another chance to get answers about WakeMed's deal with Atrium Health. WakeMed will host a virtual forum at noon today, and we're asking WakeMed's CEO new questions about this deal. It has drawn criticism from state leaders from both parties and worries that it could raise prices for consumers. WakeMed leaders are trying to ease those concerns with a series of these public forums. The first was held last night. Hospital officials argued the deal will be to boost Wake County and to patients.
Yes, jobs and investment and those sorts of things, but also improving the care for all. If anything, we're going to be able to add more care, more services.
More forums are planned through the end of the month. We'll have a full list of times and locations on our website. Just check out WRAL.com.
Happening today, the man accused of making a fake bomb threat against police is expected in court. Donald Hammock is facing a felony.
Happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center, we're taking a look at that southern loop of the Beltline. This is the usual congestion we see this time of the morning as we look live at I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road this morning. These are the westbound lanes coming toward us. So let's widen out the view, give you a look at the sensors in terms of what you can expect. Right now, you're looking at a 10-minute delay on that southern loop of the Beltline. No delays whatsoever if you're coming in from the Garner-Johnson County area between Highway 36 and the Beltline. We're picking up a little bit of a delay coming in on Wade Avenue heading to I-40 westbound, but 2 minutes not going to make you late at this hour.
Okay, Ken, thank you. A criminal trial has begun for a former Virginia assistant principal who was charged after a 6-year-old student shot a teacher. The shooting happened at a school in Newport News in January 2023. The student shot teacher Abigail Werner in the hand and the chest. Prosecutors say the assistant principal at the time, Ebony Parker, failed to respond to concerns about the student having a gun before the shooting. They say she stayed in her office and did not order a search, call police, or remove the child from the classroom. Taking the stand yesterday, Werner described the moment the 6-year-old fired.
I saw at the corner of my eye, my peripheral, that a student had. I saw the student looking at me. I looked over. A gun was pointed right at me. He was holding a gun, the student. It was pointed right at me, and then I was shot.
Defense attorneys for Parker say other staff members at the school also had opportunities to intervene. Parker could face up to 5 years in prison if convicted on all counts.
North Carolina is one of 16 states suing the U.S. Department of Education. It has to do with caps to federal student loan borrowing limits. The Department of Education is changing which degree programs qualifies as professional degrees. Those are the students who can borrow up to $50,000 a year. Now, the new definition excludes many healthcare programs, which the state argues would prevent students from pursuing careers in healthcare.
We have a very clear primary care shortage in 93 of 100 counties, in particular in rural counties. If we have an even worse shortage, particularly of nursing, that is going to hit our rural counties the hardest.
Intervenes, the new borrowing limits is scheduled to take effect July 1st.
You're one step closer to being able to buy pre-canned cocktail drinks in grocery stores. Yesterday, lawmakers advanced a bill that would allow the drinks to be sold in stores. Right now, you can only buy them in North Carolina's state-run ABC stores because they're made with spirits. The bill now goes to another committee for review. Governor Josh Stein is addressing now housing affordability in North Carolina. In a new executive order, the governor is directing state agencies to work together to increase the housing supply and improve affordability across the state. The order creates a new senior housing policy advisor inside the governor's office. The governor says the state faces a shortage of hundreds of thousands of housing units in the coming years as rising rent and home prices continue to squeeze families.
A neurological disorder was given a platform in its very own day at Wake Forest Town Hall. June 14th, 2026 is now Tourette Syndrome Awareness Day in the town of Wake Forest, and they had quite the ambassador to help introduce that measure. Gisetta Aponte Ortiz is 12 years old. She was officially diagnosed with Tourette Syndrome back in 2023. Tourette Syndrome is something more than 46,000 kids ages 5 to 17 are dealing with in North Carolina alone. Last night, Aponte Ortiz spoke in front of the mayor, officials, and the community to help break the stigma and bring awareness about this disorder.
I wanted to do this proclamation so I can raise more awareness about Tourette syndrome.
Aponte Ortiz was recently selected to be a youth ambassador with the Tourette Association of America. She traveled to D.C. to meet with North Carolina representatives to bring awareness to TS.
Well, happening today at the Durham Bulls Athletic Park, there will be more than just baseball. There will be 9 weddings and 9 innings. Mix 101.5's Kyle O'Brien and Sarah will conduct the ceremonies between the innings. One couple will celebrate their 50th anniversary, while 7 others will also renew their vows. And get this, for one couple, they will say "I do" for the first time.
I hope they met at the DBAP. Warmer weather means more snake sightings. This is video sent to us from one of our loyal viewers. It shows a copperhead, in his backyard. The snake was hiding under a pressure washer. This close encounter was a first for Lair. Lair says his sighting this week is a good reminder the snakes are coming out as the weather gets warmer.
I've seen them on the trails hiking and doing other things out in more of the wilderness area, but not so much, this close to home. And seeing one that close personally, that was like, oh, okay, that's that time.
One of the best ways to keep snakes away is to make sure your yard is tidy. That includes keeping it clear of debris like firewood and leaves. Now, if you do see a snake in your yard, it's best to just stay away.
Well, today is the 4th straight day of record heat, and the effects of it could really add up. Meteorologist Chris Michaels talks to us about electrolytes. Chris, they have a lot of purpose and benefits during stretches like this, especially.
Absolutely, yeah. This was something that I learned when I was taking my certification test for personal training, and it was the value of electrolytes in addition to water. So obviously water we're going to use to hydrate ourselves, and according to the NASM, I should say, you need 16 cups of water. For men, women average about 12 cups per day. That's what you should be getting. So you'll get that mostly through beverages, but 20% of your water intake comes through food. Rehydration is important, though, and you're going to get that through electrolytes. That's going to be sodium, calcium, magnesium, and potassium, each of which serves a different purpose. But for the most part, these electrolytes are, number one, going to prevent cramps, and number two, help you maintain performance if you absolutely have to be working outside during the heat of the day. You got to think of it, when we sweat, we not only lose water, we lose a lot of salt. So sodium is one of those things we have to replenish. That's oftentimes why we tell you if you absolutely have to exercise outside, the morning hour is best time to do that, especially with how hot it's been. But Elizabeth, at least we get some relief in the coming days.
Oh, because it has been a long stretch and an early one, too. We take a look at what's happening outside in the gardens. You can see hazy conditions out there. It is 72 right now, and our wind is southwest at 10, and it's that southwesterly wind that's kept things so warm for us since the weekend. And this continues through today, and then we see a little bit of a break. Our high this afternoon, 96, and if we hit 96, we'll end up tying the record for it today, and it'll be the fourth day in a row that we either tied or broke the record. Our next weather maker waiting in the wings right now. High pressure is moving out, and that will allow this cold front to move in. However, it's not going to go very far, so it stalls over us, and that will help to bring us a decent amount of rain between now and early next week. So the front stalls here as a stationary front, and the moisture continues to come up from the south, and so there should be enough moisture for that front to work with to bring us some showers and thunderstorms. Thursday, tomorrow at 10 a.m., we start to see the clouds thickening up, and by around 2 or 3 in the afternoon, we start to see the showers and storms, and it looks somewhat widespread during the evening commute. What we may see is some pockets where the rain is heavy and the winds are blustery. You know how it goes with thunderstorms, but I don't think that we'll see severe criteria storms. They just won't be quite strong enough. Friday morning, we're mainly cloudy, and then Friday afternoon, we'll have the potential for another round of some scattered showers and thunderstorms. And then we're just going to put that on repeat all the way through the weekend. Here's Saturday at 5 p.m. Most of the day is on the dry side, but afternoon and evening thunderstorms will crop up. We'll see that again Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So it's not going to be a complete washout, but we will have rounds of showers and thunderstorms every day. And total for the next 7 days, some of the models are as light as an inch and others are up to or a little over 2 inches. And so I have high hopes that we'll have some very beneficial rain. Now, tomorrow, before the front arrives, it's still going to be on the hot side at 91, but no record highs. And then Friday kind of sits out there like no other part of the week at 72. I'll show you why it will be so much cooler on Friday than the rest of the week. Coming up, Ken.
All right, Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. Let's stay with that southern loop of the Beltline, let you know what to expect if this is part of your morning commute. These are the westbound lanes coming toward us this morning. You can see some heavy congestion there. So right now you're looking at a 6-minute delay. So things are getting better. If you're with us in the last half hour, you know it was up to about a 10-minute delay. So right now things are beginning to thin out just a little bit. No delays whatsoever between Highway 36 and the Beltline as well. Now let's hop over to the northern loop of the Beltline, give you a live look at I-440 and New Bern Avenue. You can see the bumper-to-bumper traffic, the westbound lanes moving away from us this morning. So let's widen out the entire stretch of that northern loop of the Beltline, and you can see the bulk of the congestion is really between Capitol Boulevard exit and the I-440 87 interchange. So for the most part, from the interchange all the way over to Wade Avenue, you're looking at a 9-minute delay. So just something to keep in mind as you're about to head out the door. So let's give you a look at some other major routes heading into the Raleigh-Wake County area. For our friends in Wake Forest, you're looking at a 10-minute delay coming in on US 1 South. Now, if you're coming in out of Apex this morning, we're just picking up a little bit of delays around Williams Road, Highway 55, if you will. You're just looking at a 5-minute delay. But you're coming east on I-40 this morning, delay-free, relatively speaking. You're getting ready to head into the Cartoonist Inn on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Okay, Ken, thank you. Protection from the sun, from sprays to lotions. 5 on Your Side shares the top picks for safest sunscreen for you and your family. And if you see breaking news, have a story tip, or take video or pictures of the weather, please report it to us at WRAL.com/reported.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning. The time is 8:26. I'm Laura Levine. If you're looking to do some outdoor activities, the earlier the better. Let's get over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner with a look at the forecast. Elizabeth.
Exactly how to do it. They're out here right now as temperatures are in the 70s. And of course, later on this afternoon, we're going to climb into the mid-90s, and that's going to be no place to be. 72 in Raleigh now, 72 in Wilson, 72 in Rocky Mount. So it feels nice right now. Around town this afternoon, though, woo, here it comes again, mid-90s. And that 96 would end up tying the record high in Raleigh. And if we see that, it'll be the 4th day in a row with some record highs. Big changes start tomorrow. And coming up on Fox 50, we'll talk about when the rain arrives. Ken?
Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. Boy, we got a real troubled spot brewing on I-40 eastbound, particularly if you're coming in from the Chapel Hill area. We've got a crash blocking at least one lane in those eastbound lanes. So I'll tell you what, if you're getting ready to head out the door this morning, you're coming from either Hillsborough or in parts of Chapel Hill, you might want to take Highway 54 as an alternate route and avoid this section of I-40 eastbound at this hour. I'll have another update at the bottom of the hour coming up.
One person is dead. Another is in the hospital after a crash this morning in Harnett County. This happened at about 2 a.m. on Oak Grove Church Road near Highway 55. State Highway Patrol says the car rolled over several times and neither person in the car was wearing their seatbelt. Also new overnight, Durham police have someone in custody after reports of car break-ins. This is video from that scene at Fox Crossing Apartments near South Miami Boulevard. It's still unclear if the person in custody is facing any charges. Coming up next on Fox 50 Now, Wake Schools is working to make sure kids and teachers are staying cool after HVAC issues at multiple schools. And coming up on Today, Colin Jost on his role in The Breadwinner.
Another hot day, but cooler temperatures are on the way. I'm tracking a cold front that'll bring us cooler temperatures and showers and thunderstorms through the holiday weekend.
Cooling down classrooms this morning. Wake school leaders working to keep students cool in this record heat after more reported HVAC issues. What the district says is behind the problem.
Regulating data centers. State lawmakers are working to put new requirements on developers. How the new proposal would keep you from footing the bill.
And we're also tracking a backup on I-40 eastbound coming in from Chapel Hill, Orange County area. I'll get to that in just a minute, but glad you're with us. I'm Ken Smith.
And I'm Laura Levine. It surely is a busy and another warm morning. Let's get right over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner with a look at the forecast, Elizabeth.
Yeah, of course, it's going to be another hot day today. Our skies are clear and sunny right now. And of course, we'll end up with another hot day. Our high temperatures will climb on up into the mid-90s. Big changes start tomorrow. We'll see a cold front that comes through, and that cold front will help to drop our temperatures and bring us a better chance of rain. None of our days coming up are going to end up being washouts, but we will end up, of course, seeing some scattered showers and thunderstorms. We need the rain, but it is the holiday weekend. We take a look at downtown Raleigh. Southwest wind 10 miles per hour. It's 72, so it feels comfortable now. 69 in Clinton, 73 in Southern Pines, and 72 in Rocky Mount and Wilson. We should hit 96 this afternoon. If we do, that will tie the record, and that will make it 4 days in a row with record highs, or at least tying record highs. And then we transition to that wetter pattern. The good thing is we could see some measurable rain in the rain gauges, and your yard will be happy, even if you're not. We'll take a look at the timeline coming up, Ken.
Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. We got a couple of troubled spots we want to tell you about, starting with I-40 eastbound coming in out of Chapel Hill this morning. There was a crash that just cleared in the on I-40 eastbound there, the Highway 54 interchange right now. You're looking at some huge delays. So if you're coming out of Chapel Hill this morning, you might want to take Highway 54 as an alternate route. Even that's getting a little jammed up because of what's happening on I-40, but it's probably your best bet in terms of an alternate route. The other troubled spot, the southern loop of the Beltline, I-40 Lake Wheeler Road. These are the westbound lanes coming toward us this morning. You can see the bumper traffic. So let's check the sensors for you. Right now, you're looking at a 7-minute delay. If you're with us in the last half hour or so, that was up to double digits. So things are beginning to thin out just a little bit. No delays whatsoever if you're coming in from the Gardner-Johnston County area between Highway 36 and the Beltline. We're just picking up a wee bit of a delay on Wade Avenue headed to I-40 westbound this morning. But there you see coming in from Apex, you're looking at an 11-minute delay because we're seeing some slowdowns on Highway 55 Williams Road, if you will. And our friends in Wake Forest, you're looking at a 10-minute delay coming into Raleigh this morning. You're getting ready to head into the car. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Ken, thank you. One person is dead, another in the hospital after a very serious crash this morning in Harnett County. It happened at around 2 a.m. on Oak Grove Church Road near Highway 55. That's just outside of Anger. You're looking at video of that scene from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. State Highway Patrol says the car rolled over several times. Troopers say neither person in the car was wearing a seatbelt. We're working to learn the name of the person who died. Today, North Carolina lawmakers are expected to roll out a proposal targeting big data centers. If approved, it prevent costs from shifting to the consumers like you. WRAL's Kirsten Clark tells us more about the recent pushback against these centers.
The data center boom has become a big issue in our state, and it's why House Republicans are planning to propose what they call the Ratepayer Protection Act, proposing the first steps toward regulations on data centers here. The bill would require data centers to cover the cost of electricity, grid upgrades, and new power generation. It comes as AI-driven data centers fuel a surge in demand on the state's electric grid. Utilities warn these facilities can use as much power as a small city, putting new pressure on utilities to expand infrastructure. The proposal would also prohibit cities and counties from offering economic development incentives to attract data centers, and it bars the use of eminent domain or taking private property for public use for data center siting. The proposal is expected to be discussed in a House committee meeting this afternoon. For more on this bill, you can head on over to the NC Capitol section of WRAL.com. In Raleigh, Kirsten Clark, WRAL News.
And as we've reported, many communities have enacted temporary bans on data center development. The ones in red on this map that you see here, including Wake, Durham, and Cumberland counties, have put moratoriums in place. The counties in green are allowing data center developments at this time.
Also today, Laura, the State House is expected to vote on two amendments that include limits on property and income taxes. The votes were postponed yesterday. It could be a sign Republican legislators don't have the support they need to pass these amendments. Proposed constitutional amendments need 72 votes to pass through the House. Now, if they are approved, they will be on the ballot for voters in November.
Deputies are investigating after an 85-year-old woman was found dead near Apex. Her body was found surrounded by dogs. Chatham County deputies were called to a home on Alston Road around 11 a.m. yesterday in response to a report of a dog attack. That's where they found Betty Alston dead outside the home. A family member reportedly found 3 dogs near her body. We spoke with a neighbor who says Alston was a familiar and kind face in the community.
She's very friendly. She waves us and then like walk around every day, almost like every day. They walk around here and when they see me, they say hi.
We spoke with her family off camera and they describe her as a beloved mother, sister, and grandmother. Authorities say the dogs were secured and there is no threat to the community. Now, although police responded to reports of a dog attack, we're still working to confirm if it was the dogs that led to her death.
Well, the suspected death toll from the Ebola outbreak in Central Africa rising again today. 2 exposed Americans are arriving in Europe for treatment as well. The World Health Organization warns a vaccine is still months away. There are now more than 600 suspected cases and 139 deaths suspected to be caused by the Ebola virus. Those are mostly in Congo. The WHO's director says he expects those numbers to keep increasing. He also warned while the risk of a global pandemic is very low, the threat to countries in that region is severe. Also, the Centers for Disease Control here in the U.S. now says Americans quarantining at a Nebraska medical facility after exposures to hantavirus cannot leave. It had previously said the quarantine was voluntary. According to a new report by the New York Times, a passenger who tested negative and has no symptoms was planning to leave that facility, but she received a notice barring her from leaving.
The head of the FBI's San Diego office says the 2 teen suspects involved with shootings at an Islamic center apparently had outside sources that influenced their behavior. Law enforcement says the teens took their own lives. Officials say more than 30 guns were found during a home search, as well as a crossbow. 3 people were shot and killed, including a security guard.
Well, today marks the 4th straight day of record high temperatures. Some Wake County schools have been feeling the heat, so to speak, in classroom because of HVAC issues. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey explains how some schools are responding.
Today, Wake school leaders are working to keep your kids cool in this record heat. Temperatures here at Salem Elementary School reached at least 80 degrees Monday after the AC broke. Reedy Creek Middle School reported about a broken AC on the same day. Wake School's Chief of Facilities and Operations, Mark Strickland, says somewhere between 4 and 6 schools reported HVAC problems in the last week. WRAL has covered HVAC issues within the district for years. Schools closed or dismissed early 46 times due to HVAC issues last school year. The district later added training for some employees so they can identify problems faster. Strickland says part of the issue is a lack of funding for maintenance.
We are constantly working on ways to be more effective and efficient with the funding that we have. But as you all well know, where we are with our budget right now, it is a challenge.
To put in perspective just how widespread this issue is, the district has budgeted anywhere between $40 and $45 million for HVAC systems alone. That's nearly double the budget they had for this back in 2023. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Apex.
Of course, many people have to work outdoors. We checked in with the State Department of Transportation and were told that construction crews are working to stay safe in this extreme heat. They have coolers for water, shade systems, misting fans, and heat stress response kits on hand. Workers may also wear helmet sunshades. The state DOT says they provide extra breaks when temperatures rise. Work schedules have not changed, though, but some divisions may work overnight.
Calendars are changing at 8 Wake County schools, but they'll all get to stay year-round. Last night, the school board voted against recommendations to move 4 of the schools to traditional calendars. Parents in Holly Springs and Wake Forest had protested the traditional calendars. The schools will now stay year-round, but students will attend all at once instead of in a complex system of groups. It's expected to save about $1 million.
Raleigh City Manager is proposing a $1.76 billion budget for the fiscal year of 2027, which begins July and ends next June. The plan closes a $13 million budget gap. It includes a proposed 1.7-cent property tax increase. That's about $67 additional that homeowners will have to pay each year. Investments include public safety, affordable housing, transportation improvements, and continued free downtown parking, I should say. Public hearings begin on June 2nd.
Your time now is 8:40. Protecting your skin. Summer is on the way, and more sun means you'll want the right sun protection. 5 on your side shows you the best options to keep your skin safe in the heat.
Also, our Teacher of the Week is all about being in tune with her students. We'll show you why she answered the call to the classroom after several years in a different field.
And you're probably ready for this. Changes are coming. One more day with fairly intense heat. And then a cold front comes to our rescue with cooler temperatures and a chance for rain. But that does include the entire weekend. I'll show you why it won't be a washout coming up. 8:44, we take a live look at Southern Pines, and these golfers have the right idea. Now is the time to get outside. Enjoy the pretty morning that we have here. But of course, once we get closer to lunchtime, we'll hit 90, and then we'll be in the mid and upper 90s this afternoon. Look at this, 72 and 73 almost everywhere across the board. That feels pretty good out there, especially with that sunshine. So walking the dog right now would be a great choice. By lunchtime, it'll be 90 and then 96 at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. But we do drop back down into the 80s by around 7 p.m. And if you're headed out to the Bulls game, it's a special one. Notice Willie Bulls holding the bouquet there. It is 9 weddings and 9 innings, and our good friends with Mix 101.5 Mornings will be the officials there for the 9 weddings. And it'll be a little hot at the beginning at 91, but then we drop down into the 80s. More relief on the way starting tomorrow. We'll check that out coming up. Ken?
All right, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. Boy, we got a real jam session on I-40 eastbound coming in out of Durham this morning. Here's what you're looking at, bumper-to-bumper traffic. There was a crash in that particular area that's since cleared, but we're still seeing the lingering delays starting at the streets at South Point exit at Fayetteville Road all the way back to Highway 54. So particularly if you're coming in from Chapel Hill this morning on I-40 eastbound, you might want to just stay on Highway 54 as an alternate route at this hour.
Ken, okay, thank you. Well, official or not, summer weather is here, which means it's time to stock up on your sun protection supplies before hitting the pools or beaches this holiday weekend. Consumer Reports tested more than 100 sunscreens, so you know what's best for you and your family. 5 on your side's Keely Arthur shares those findings.
From sprays to lotions, Consumer Reports tested more than 100 sunscreens this year.
A lot of the sunscreens in our ratings did not meet their SPF claim on their label, but that doesn't mean that they still don't protect you against the sun's rays. Any sunscreen is better than no sunscreen.
Consumer Reports also tested for UVA protection. Those are the rays linked to aging as well as skin cancer by shining UV light through sunscreen-coated plates to measure how much got through. At the top of CR's ratings with a perfect score overall, Coppertone Water Baby's Lotion SPF 50. Among sprays, Eucerin Advanced Hydration Spray SPF 50 came out on top. So you may be wondering which is better, a spray or a lotion.
It's easier to see how much you're applying and to get better coverage with a lotion. Sprays can be good, they're certainly convenient, but they also carry some risks. You can inhale them, they often blow away in the wind. It's not easy to see how much you're applying to your skin.
To properly use a spray, spray until your skin glistens, then rub it in. Bottom line, testing shows not all sunscreens perform the same, but using one and using it the right way can make all the difference. Keely Arthur, 5 on your side.
Well, today, the search for missing kayaker in Roanoke Rapids Lake enters its 7th day. 2 men disappeared last Thursday when their kayak flipped over in choppy waters. This video shows the moment rescue crews pulled one of the kayakers out of the water. Crews are still searching for Angel Martinez. The man they pulled from the water was holding onto a life jacket Martinez had given him. Martinez's family says knowing that he may have saved his friend's life brings them some comfort.
My brother was honestly so selfless even at that moment, because that's another thing about my brother. He always cared about other people before himself. Always, 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 always.
And this reminder, whenever you go boating, make sure you have a flotation device for every person on board. Crews will continue their search for the rest of this week.
A state-run appeals board is now reviewing the call that cost a high school state and track and field championship. We're talking about Mallard Creek High School, of course, in Charlotte. They were disqualified from a race because of a runner who raised his hand as he crossed the finish line in first place. The official called it unsportsmanlike. Mallard Creek is now appealing the ruling with the state's Department of Public Instruction.
Well, the education field is actually a second career for our Teacher of the Week. We're at Parkside Elementary School in Wake County to recognize a teacher who has spent her entire professional life protecting and educating children.
Make sure you are very thoughtful of the words that you use.
Layla Salary is always looking for thoughtful ways to reach her students in her 5th grade class at Parkside Elementary.
I really want this to sound like your voice.
On the day we surprised her, she and her students were working on writing public service announcements.
We were talking about using words that actually grab people, right?
This is just one of many ways Miss Salary empowers her students and helps them build their confidence.
I realized that for me, I am a person that enjoys immensely being around kids and teaching and watching them flourish. Those were the ones that grabbed your attention, that you really wanted to watch.
Miss Salary is in her 6th year as a teacher.
All right, you guys.
Before this chapter of her life in the classroom, though, she worked for a number of years in Child Protective Services, and that experience is reflected in her approach to teaching.
I'm very mindful that when children come in each and every day, that there's a whole other world that they're coming from, and I don't know it. I'm very mindful that school can be a safe haven for many people.
Miss Salary, yes. You are WRAL's Teacher of the Week. Give her a big round of applause, class. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Always the best part of my day. If you'd like to nominate a teacher, go to WRAL.com and enter Teacher of the Week in the search box.
And later tonight, we will learn the name of the 2026 Wake County Schools Teacher of the Year. This is video from last year's banquet. Tonight, the district will honor school-level teachers of the year and award 4-year and first-year teacher awards. Superintendent Robert Taylor will also recognize the system-wide Teacher of the Year. It all begins at 6:30 at the Raleigh Convention Center.
All right, there's some new competition for Meta glasses.
Yeah, time to take a look at what's trending now. Samsung and Google are getting in on the smart glasses trend. The companies are launching a new line of headsets that will be powered by Google's Gemini AI. The glasses do not have a screen, and there will be a camera and speaker that partner with your phone. The eyewear is set to launch this fall, Ken.
I could totally see it.
Yeah.
But I'll have to wait to see how it actually works.
Yeah, you know, the Meta glasses have been so popular right now with so many people buying them, using them. So it'll be interesting to see the competition now with Samsung and Google jumping on in with this.
Now people have options.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, let's get over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner now. You're tracking a warm day, but there's relief in sight.
There is, finally. Tracking a cold front that's getting closer and closer to us. And that cold front, of course, is going to bring us a bit of relief. It'll still be on the hotter side tomorrow, but then we're going to drop into the 70s on Friday. We take a look at downtown Raleigh, looking beautiful, a little bit hazy as we take a look from the WRAL departments. 72 is our temperature. That southwesterly wind just keeps on pushing that heat in. So we'll climb to 90 by lunchtime. But right now it's 73 in Holly Springs, 72 in Knightdale, 74 in Durham. So it feels comfortable now. But we'll climb into the mid-90s this afternoon, and that puts us right about a record high. For today, our record is 96 at RDU, so that would mean tying the record. But in Fayetteville, the record's 99, so we might not quite reach the record. We've broken record highs 3 days in a row already this week. Sunday 94, Monday 96, and Tuesday 97. So it has definitely been hot, and here's why. We have our flow coming out of the south and southwest, and that is what's keeping that heat in place. We're going to see that front slide southward and allow our temperatures to really cool off by Friday. But tomorrow's still going to be a bit on the warm side. Our moisture meter really, or muggy meter really starts to climb, especially Saturday and Sunday. It's going to feel a lot more muggy. We'll have more moisture in the atmosphere, and that means a good chance of at least some isolated showers and thunderstorms during the afternoon. The rain might be a little bit more widespread for us on Thursday and Friday, and then just some pop-up afternoon storms Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So this shouldn't be enough to completely wash out your Memorial Day plans, but you want to keep checking with us every day for the timeline of the rain. And of course, you can also download the WRAL weather app, and you can follow along on the radar before you head out the door. We go from 91 on Thursday down to 72 on Friday, but we don't stay there. As we get into the weekend and beyond, highs will be closer to normal in the low to mid 80s. Laura?
Elizabeth, thank you. And before we go to break, here's a look at the winning lottery numbers. We will have another check on weather and traffic next.